Mic check, mic check. What is going on? TryHard Podcast. Listeners, we are back with another episode. All right, we're back. We are back. We are motherfucking back. Hold on a minute. Let me hit him with the. Like I said, we back in this bitch. All right? It was beta weekend. You're listening to this right now. It should be Tuesday, all right? Labor Day weekend, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of fun stuff within the Call of Duty community. We got mini rostermania, all right? Not real rostermania, but mini rostermania. We got mini rostermania. We got moves happening in the background with these orgs. Some orgs are leaving. Some orgs are coming back. Some orgs are laying people off. Listen, it's a crazy. And on top of that, we had the BO6 beta this past weekend. Man, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about some other things. But most importantly, we're just going to be bullshitting. All right, we're just relaxing. Okay? I'm a little tired right now. Okay? I didn't record last week. I had some personal stuff going on, but this week we're back. Listen, guys. I think I'm going to try to do this podcast daily. All right? I'm going to try to do it daily. Okay? Now, what I want you to understand, all right, if we're going to do some a daily podcast, especially when the majority of the time it's just me, all right, the episodes might not be that long, all right? They might not be an hour and a half. They might be only 30 minutes, 40 minutes, right? Something like that, right? Let me know. Let me know if it's something you guys would be interested in. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, or if you're watching this on... or listening to this on audio podcast, if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, let me know. All right, let me know. If you want to let me know how you feel about it, you could hit me up on Twitter at Garza Beats, and let me know what you guys think about as far as a daily podcast, making this a daily podcast, but not really an in-depth. You know what I mean? Like an in-depth version of the podcast. You know what I mean? And let's be real. It's not like I get too in-depth with this podcast anyway. Most of the time, I'm just kind of giving you guys my opinions on certain things, certain issues within the Call of Duty community. So I'm kind of leaning towards doing that, all right? Because I have a big problem, you guys, all right? A big problem. Throughout my life, right? Especially nowadays, being a father and, you know, I got grown man problems, right? Not really problems, but grown man responsibilities. And finding the time to do a podcast, one podcast or two, one podcast at the very least a week, especially when I'm in my head, I'm like, all right, it's got to be a good podcast. It has to be, I have to do my research. I have to have notes. I have to have talking points. If I don't have an interview, if I do have an interview, then I got to do, I got to get questions ready. I got to, talk with them ahead of time, graphics, uploading the shit, all this shit I do myself, right? Getting clips, all this stuff I do myself, right? So that I've noticed that kind of hinders my, me wanting to actually do the podcast, or most importantly, finding time, because I do want to do the podcast. I want to do it as much as possible, right? But for me, it's more of like finding the time, okay? So I figured, how about I just relax, okay? It doesn't have to be this crazy, awesome production. It can just be very simplified, all right? Very simplified, okay? And on top of that, I also feel that if I can make this podcast a part of my daily routine, it would be easier for me to not kind of procrastinate as far as doing it, right? If it's a part of my daily routine, right, my end of day routine, I should get to the point where I don't have to think about it. I know I'm doing my podcast. It's part of my routine, right? So that was kind of my way of thinking with that. So I want to try to make this podcast, again, a daily podcast, like every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Obviously, I'm not going to be perfect. There's going to be weeks where I don't do it every day, right? But also, too, I think it would help out with, as far as like, there's the competitive Call of Duty community, like there's some kind of news is always breaking, right? Every day there's something going on, right? Most of the time. So I've noticed that a lot of times when things break, when things happen, when news comes out or leaks come out or whatever, and I don't do a podcast within those 2-3 days, I just completely forget about it, right? So I think doing a daily podcast, and again, it's going to be a daily brief podcast, right? We're talking 20, 30, 40 minutes, right? If it's crazy, then, just a normal podcast, hour or whatever. But I'm talking 20, 30, 40 minutes at the very least, daily podcast, Monday through Friday. Weekend, we'll see how that goes. But obviously when I have interviews, it'll be different. The schedule will be different for the week, right? If I have an interview, I'm probably just going to be, doing, 1 or 2 daily brief podcasts and then the big interview, right? So just kind of my way of thinking as far as wanting to get more consistent with the podcast. I've been annoyed at myself, and I'm constantly trying to find ways to fix the problem. And I think that just making this podcast a part of my daily routine, will help alleviate some of that problem and the pressure that I'm putting on myself to actually do the podcast, because I like to do it. I genuinely like to do it. I like to just talk to you guys. I like to talk to anybody that listens, right? And I'm not gonna lie. We don't have that many people listening, right? But we do have listeners. I get some of you guys might not think that, but we actually do have listeners. All right. And I think I'm going to do that, right? Just kind of keep it more consistent as far as daily, not overthink it. Like when I started this podcast, I did not even, it was not like I was doing it because I just wanted to talk about Call of Duty, right? And at that time, there was really there's no podcast that covered Call of Duty esports, just Call of Duty. You know what I mean? A lot of times it would be an esports podcast, and they would maybe touch on the Call of Duty scene, but very rarely. Also, the other podcasts that are out, there's a handful of other ones out there. They're very, they're very like, 1 or 2 episodes a month, right? Like, so again, we're gonna try to make this shit a daily. Because listen, podcasts for me on my daily routine. I listen to a lot of podcasts like throughout my week, right? I don't really listen to very much music, right? I mean, I have my times, but for the most part, I'm listening to the podcasts. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are like that, whether you're at school, which you probably shouldn't be listening to podcasts at school, but you know what I mean? At school, at work, traveling, whatever. I'm sure you guys who enjoy Call of Duty, the Call of Duty scene, would not mind a daily podcast, right? Something to look forward to every day, right? So we're gonna go down there. We're gonna keep you guys more updated, and just be on the lookout, man. Be on the lookout, because I think it'll be a good opportunity to grow the podcast a little faster and get more people involved as far as listeners. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop a subscribe. Drop a comment. Let me know. Let me know how the podcast is. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate the podcast. Please rate the podcast. All right. Rate it, follow it, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Just help your boy out. All right. Help your boy out. But let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. So first information, first topic on the docket will be, there is no docket. I'm just saying that. I think the big news as far as the CDL rostermania was, the New York Subliners, aka Cloud9, C9, pretty much are dropping Sib. Dante, aka Sib, aka Sibilance, whatever the fuck he goes by nowadays, tweeted the other day that he was pretty much a restricted free agent, and he was given the information. He was told that he's allowed to go look at some other options, and I guess for me, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't like crazy surprised, because I knew there was other options out there that New York could pull the trigger on. I'm interested to know if it was of them wanting to replace Sib was a team decision or a management decision. That's my big kind of it's my big question. You know what I mean? Because at times for the majority of the year when they started doing very well at the end of the year, even when they won the major, I forgot what major it was, but the one they won, even in the champs, I mean, they looked like they liked each other. It looked like they were having fun. Well, you know, they looked like they were, they looked like they were having a good time, right? So I thought maybe because of that possibly the team was going to stick together. Again, they came in, they came in second at champs. So yeah, it was kind of confusing. At the Esports World Cup, obviously they didn't do as well as they wanted to. But again, at the Esports World Cup, I feel like a lot of teams are just tired. We're tired and shit. So I don't really count that. If you did bad there, you have a little bit of an excuse, right? But yeah, just interesting to see the play by New York Subliners on wanting to replace Sib and giving him pretty much his walking papers. I guess if you look at the overall picture as far as free agency, especially with what's been happening with the Toronto Ultra, a lot of those guys, I think Insight was it that pretty much said that he's going to get dropped or whatever. The moves that they're trying to make from the looks of it, it sounds like New York, Cloud9, whatever, they're going to make a move on replacing Sib with Scrap. Again, I'm saying with the looks of it, right? Just because they want to do it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Obviously with Scrap, high profile player, very sought out player. He's going to come with a big buyout from Toronto on top of, I'm sure he'll want a decent chunk and change. So again, just because New York wants it to get Scrap doesn't mean that they're going to get him, right? It's not going to be that easy. If that's even their play. That I'm not saying that I know anything or anything, but we're all just assuming that's the play, right? As far as who would they replace Sib with. And again, it's not a guarantee. A lot of things could happen to kind of deter that. It looks like Toronto Ultra is okay with kind of moving on with that team from that team. They had their run, and it just looks like it's kind of chalked as far as like the future with that set squad. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. I don't think I'm going to give you my opinion. If I'm okay, so I'm assuming that Toronto Ultra, as far as an org, are wanting out of the CDL. I'm predicting. All right, prediction here. Prediction. Okay, I'm predicting. All right, I'm predicting that Toronto Ultra will, air quotes, merge with another org. Right, merge. Now, all that really means is we're giving our spot up, but we don't want to look like we're running out of like we're getting ran out or running out of the league. So we're gonna act like we're gonna merge, but really we're just giving them the spot. That's what I think is gonna happen with Toronto. I think the Toronto and again, no one's come out publicly to say this. I think they may want to get out of the Call of Duty League. Again, I'm just predicting that. I'm not giving you guys any inside information or giving you any leaks. I'm just predicting that. Especially if they're willing to get rid of Scrappy, right? Scrappy being, top 5 biggest superstars within the Call of Duty scene. So I think that's the overall play with Toronto as an org and that investment group. I think they just want to get out of it. And there's enough interest from some old school esports organizations that want to get back into COD, and I think a lot of those older esports orgs that want to get back into COD are kind of taking advantage of this this time where there are multiple orgs that I feel want to get out. So I think a lot of these older orgs who were in COD and back in the day, in the MLG days, are going to kind of take advantage of that and figure a way to merge with a lot of these current CDL teams. So stay tuned for some news with that. Obviously, if I get some more news on that, I'll update you guys as quick as I can. So yeah, Sib a free agent, and again, we're also assuming that New York is going to try to get Scrap. Again, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. If it does happen, good for New York. That you would assume that's a big upgrade, but at the same time, with that, Scrap with Kismet and Hydra sounds insane, but you have to counter. You gotta take for consideration egos, play styles, in and out of game, personalities. So there's a lot involved in a move like that. It's more than just his stats and how good of a player is. It's more than that. So that's why I want to know if it was a team decision to drop Sib or a management decision. So I'm leaning towards a team decision, but we'll see. So we'll keep our eye out on that. Sib free agent, and New York possibly eyeing to pick up Scrap from Toronto Ultra, and it's gonna cost them a bag, and we'll see if they got it or if they want to do it. But that's on that with the little roster mania. There's some other roster mania stuff. Mac Meltz. Okay, if you guys know who Mac Meltz is, he played for the New York Sludliners and the Seattle Surge, which Vancouver Surge now. Mac Meltz was one. He's in the same class of players as Sib. They kind of came up together as far as when they were younger. I had a lot of experience with Sib and Mac on their come up, so I know those guys pretty. Well, I know Mac pretty well and his dad. So I've tried to get his dad on here before, like 2 years ago. Didn't work out. Whatever. So Mac Meltz is announced that he will be competing back in BO6. He took a break last year due to personal reasons. Not sure what that was. I think something to do with his family, his mom, or something like that. I think. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think he had personal issues that he had to get taken care of, so he took the year off. So that was good. It's good to see Mac Meltz back in the swing of things. Now, does he get a spot in the league? I'm not sure. At one point, he looked like a rookie of the year type candidate. He had a rougher time with the Seattle Surge towards the end of their stint. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. For sure, he'll be on a top amateur team, a top challenger team. If anything, maybe there could be an opportunity for him as far as a substitute spot with one of the teams. He'd be a pretty good sub to have, substitute to have on your bench if you're one of these top CDL teams or one of the CDL teams in particular. It'd be a good opportunity to have him on the bench because. He's got that experience, and on top of that, he's young. He's still in the younger side as far as Call of Duty players, and he could definitely step in if needed. If need be to help out your team if you needed to make a roster move or someone's sick, someone gets hurt or whatever. So Mac Meltz, I'm gonna go out on a limb, say he starts the year off on a top challenger team and maybe signs to a pro team as a substitute. So that's that. Welcome back, Mac Meltz. Good to see him back. Happy things worked out for him, and he's going to be back to competing. Another one was Illy. Illy, I think 2 weeks ago, announced that he will be coming back. Did I cover that in last podcast? Did I? Not sure. Anyway, regardless, Illy is back. he announced too that he would be coming back to competing for BO6. Everyone's excited about BO6, man. So it's good to see a lot of these guys who took steps away from competitive COD to, Illy obviously had like something to do with his wrist, or he had some kind of injury, so he took time out of competing for that. Again, Illy's another guy who, insane player. Had his moments of being one of the best players in Call of Duty. He had his run with Optic, obviously, injuries, having to step away, just a bunch of stuff that kind of made him decide to take a year off and just kind of relax and figure it out. So having him back is cool to see. Again, another guy that I'm not sure what could happen with him. And he's another really good option if you're a CDL team looking for a substitute. Having him on the bench would be huge because he has the ability to be a top player. So having him there in case anything happens, emergencies, whatever, or if the team that you have isn't working out, you got a guy like Ilya on the bench that could come in and make an impact immediately. So another guy I think we could easily see signing a substitute spot with a team in the league, or at the very least, he's going to be on a top amateur team. Regardless, he will be back in the competitive scene, so that's a W for everyone involved, and especially him. Hope it all works out for him, and I'm excited to see what happens with Illy and McMelts. So that's your kind of return to COD segment. It's good to see those boys back competing. A lot of these guys, man, you forget. There's players come in and out, man. Players coming in and out of challengers, they're coming in and out of the league, and you forget, who's who and where they've been, and it's easy to forget about guys, even really good players like Illy, like Mac Melch. The other last 2-3 weeks ago, I was thinking about players that were fucking beasts in the scene, and then now no one knows where they're at, right? Not on any disrespectful stuff, but a lot of people just walk away, man. I was talking about Venom. Back in the day, Venom was like the next guy. He was like rookie of the year type guy. He won an event. Did he win an event? I don't know. Venom was, got in the league. Things didn't work out for him. And now he just doesn't compete anymore. He's probably only like 21, 22, like young guy, still has some miles left on him. You know what I mean? So you forget, man, a lot of these guys, they're competing for so long to get it to this level, and they either get burnt out or never have a break. Or listen, that shit hurts. That shit, when you're overdoing it with gaming, man, like it can really, really fuck you up and make you forget what it's like to not do this shit every day. And then when you get a taste of it, of not doing it every day, and you realize how nice it is, no pressure, no anxiety, no constant practice, no constant arguments with your teammates. Like when you get a little taste of that, of just being a normal person, it's kind of nice, man. It's kind of nice. And it makes it a lot easier to kind of step away from competing, man. So it's good to see all those guys coming back. It should be a fun season with those guys back in the mix, as far as in challengers, or at the very least getting signed by a CDL team as a sub. So it's gonna be interesting to see how all that works out. I predict a lot more people, especially after this next year, after BO6. People really didn't have an off season this season. And this off season wasn't really a thing. You had champs, EWC, and now we're at BO6 beta. BO6 comes out next month. Like the grind starts. You know what I mean? At the very best, if you were a top level competitor, challenger player, or pro, your off season was weeks, not months, weeks. So I think a lot of people are gonna get burnt out, man. I really do. Sorry about that. I was getting a drink of water or drink of energy drink. So I think a lot of people are going to be burnt out, and I'm interested to see how that all works out. I'm very interested to see how it works out. So we'll see. What else? Still a lot of talk on what's going to happen with LA Thieves. I personally think that they're going to stay together. I would wish they would stay together. I hope they stay together. People are talking about Ghosty going here, Ghosty going there. I think that team, as far as the end of the year, was the most improved team. Finished top 4 at champs. Went to the grand finals at the Esports World Cup. So why would you want to change that squad, right? I think you leave. If you're LA Thieves management, keep the team. Keep them. Sign a good sub, Illy or Mac. Sign a substitute and keep the squad. Everyone's talking about drop nasty for this person. No, keep them. Keep LA Thieves the way they are. I hope, Nate Shot, if you're listening, I'm sure you're not. I hope you keep the team the way they are. I truly think if you keep LA Thieves the way they are all year and they continue with the momentum that they're coming off of from MW3, they'll be easily a top 3, top 4 team. Truly believe that. Truly believe that. Truly believe that. I really do. So, LA Thieves, keep your squad. Don't release anybody. Don't replace anybody. And just ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave. Y'all were on top of the wave towards the end of the year. Keep riding that bitch. See what happens. Who knows? So, it's really kind of... within the next week, we're gonna start seeing some more roster stuff breaking, and we'll obviously talk about those things as they happen. But yeah, it's really been kind of chill as far as rostermania. We're technically in the middle of rostermania, but there's no moves actually happening. It's just a lot of talk, a lot of, you know what I mean. And obviously, if I hear something, I'll let you guys know immediately. So that's kind of where it's been. What else has been going on? The BO6 beta released this past weekend, so everyone's been grinding that. My initial thoughts, I've played it the last couple of days. I don't listen. The way I work with betas, just because I'm a scarred Call of Duty player. All right, I've been playing COD for some years now, where I know the beta and the game a lot of times are totally different, right? Obviously, with BO6, the big change was the Omni movement, right? The implementation of the Omni movement. Omni movement pretty much being, just you can just do unlimited types of movements and, just crazy shit. So after playing the beta, and I'll probably play it tonight actually after I'm done. After I'm done doing this podcast, I'll probably play it a little bit later tonight. It's a beta, man. It's a beta. To me, it feels clunky. Also, understand I'm playing on PS5, so it feels clunky to me. Now, the one thing that pisses me off is I get it's a beta, but it shouldn't feel this clunky. Okay, especially when Treyarch's big talking point has been finally we've been able to create a game where we had a full 4 years to create the game, blah blah blah. All right, that's cool, but why does the beta feel clunky? If we're a month and a half from release date, you've been working on the game for 4 years, and the beta has a lot of clunkiness to it, especially with the gameplay. So I'm kind of that's a little sign of concern for me with that. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. But again, it's a beta. I got to keep telling myself it's a beta. There's no reason to be playing the game, getting mad at it. There's no reason. Everyone's complaining about the sub, the Jackal, PDW or whatever is overpowered. I commented on someone's thing. They're like, they commented under Treyarch's Twitter account and said, "Hey, can you fix the Jackal PDW for the beta?" It's like, dude, it's a fucking beta. Who cares if it's overpowered? Who cares? What does it matter? It's a beta. What are the odds? What are the chances that we're all going to be using the PDW when the game comes out? More than likely not. We all know if you've been around COD long enough, you know a lot of times the gun that was popping in the beta isn't even the gun that we play with in competitive. So who gives a fuck about updating the gun or fixing it? It's the beta. relax. It's literally supposed to be a sample. That's it. It's not the actual game. They're literally giving you a sample of the game that's coming out in a month and a half, whatever. Okay? So who gives a fuck? When I'm playing it, I'm not getting mad. I'm not getting upset. All right? Now, the movement for someone like me is like, holy fuck, these fuckers are flying through the maps, right? Maps are dog shit. Whatever, it's a beta. Who cares? Shoot your fucking gun. You got stim shot back. You got I do like the overall the UI of the game as far as the gunsmith and all the perk system. I do like that. It's a lot more simplified. Nothing crazy. So I do like that they've kind of gone back to a more of a simplified gunsmith. I do like that. I am kind of sad that there's no firing range. I think every COD should have a firing range. There's not. So overall, it as this might be. Listen, I always say, if I'm good at a COD and I can go on rank play and hold my own, that's probably not a good COD. All right, as far as like skill gap, I feel like this BO6 is gonna have an actual skill gap. So more than likely, I won't be good at BO6. All right, because I'm not that good. Okay, so if the skill gap is real with this game, you probably see me rage a lot on my Twitch when I stream. So stay tuned for that. Make sure if you follow me on Twitch, at Garza Beats on Twitch. So go ahead and drop a follow. But listen, if BO6 has a true skill gap, I'm fucked. I won't be able to play it. All right. But if you see me in rank play on BO6 and I'm doing well, this game is ass. Okay? It's ass. Just keep that in mind. Okay? Now, I do predict with the movement, here's the problem. All right? This is a big conspiracy theory of mine. All right? Since the movement is the Omni movement is the big selling point of this game, right? It's a new thing we've never had before in COD, blah, blah, blah. That's the Omni movement is the selling point of this BO6 COD title, okay? Now, when it comes to competitive, that's not good, okay? When it comes to competitive, that's not a good thing, okay? Because with movement usually means skill, right? A skill gap. Activision, they want more viewership, especially when with the CDL, when it's being streamed, okay? They don't just want the average viewer like us who knows competitive COD. They want to attract the new viewer, right? The casual viewer, the casual COD player who plays COD for 45 minutes after work a night. You know what I mean? Like that's the average player base in COD. That's like 70% of the overall player base is that type of person. They want that type of person to be in bed watching the CDL stream on his phone. Okay. Now, if you're a viewer like that, you more than likely won't stick around if you don't know what's going on. Okay. If you're a viewer who just is on YouTube and sees the CDL Major 2 or whatever, oh, what's this? That's Call of Duty. Oh, it's the Professional Call of Duty League. Oh, let me check it out. Now, if you're one of those guys and you're watching for the first time and you see this crazy Omni movement, guys flicking around, jumping around, it's too fast. It's too fast for a casual viewer to want to sit there and watch. And more importantly, understand what's going on. So, on the competitive side of BO6, one way to negate all that and to slow the game down is going to be what? Overpower the ARs. Overpower the ARs. By doing that, buffing the ARs, nerfing the sub, you're going to make the game slow down. Okay? Making the ARs be insanely overpowered will make that fast-paced sub player like a Hydra, like a Shotzi, have to slow down and think about their movements before. They can't just be in the flow state all the time, right? So I think that's what Activision's going to do. I think that's what it's going to do, which is going to be dumb because you're literally marketing this game with Omni movement, and you're gonna pretty much nerf the Omni movement by buffing the subs. Because I don't care if you do a fucking front flip or a back flip, side to side, fucking do a breaststroke in the pool. If you're doing flips, cartwheels and shit, getting, double kills, all that. If there's an overpowered AR that can hit you from across the map with a 2 burst, none of that matters. All right? Hence MCW. Okay? None of that matters. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to overbuff the ARs and make the subs slow down, making it a more enjoyable viewership experience for people who don't know what the fuck Call of Duty League is, don't know what a pro player is, and just make a casual viewer stick around and understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And make them more likely to come back. If they click onto the screen and they're just seeing fuckers fly around, jumping around, do cartwheels, what the fuck is this? They're not gonna even comprehend what that is. You know what I mean? So that's what I think is gonna happen. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now I could be wrong. More likely I am wrong. But just my theory when it comes to BO6. Again, the beta has been cool. I'm not sweating it. I want to play it. Not really. I don't really give a fuck. If I'm in the mood, I'll play it. If I'm not in the mood, I'll play college football. All good. You know what I mean? A lot of you sweaty motherfuckers playing the beta as if it's the game. You have a problem. Garza, you have a problem. All right? I'm fucking on my timeline. I'm looking at Chals from Garza and Co. for kill races or tournaments or whatever on the beta. Like, you guys, come on. Relax. Calm down. Calm the fuck down. All right? You guys are getting out of control. Out of control. But yeah, it's the beta's been cool. It's been cool. I'll give it, out of 10, I'll give it a 6.5, 7, right? 6.5, 7. Listen, Treyarch, the bar is not set high. All you have to do is make a COD better than MW3 and a COD better than MW2. That's all you got to do. And that's not a very high thing to do. The bar isn't very high on that. So it should be pretty easy. BO6 should be better than MW3 and MW2. It should be, right? It's not a very high bar to meet. So I hope it does. I definitely see the potential with the game. I see the potential with the game. I really do. So I'm hoping that it all works out good, because the scene we need a good COD, man. We need a good COD. We need a good COD. And obviously everybody's going to be excited off the rip when it releases, because, we're sick, we're drug addicted. We're literally COD, a Call of Duty title is a new Call of Duty title is the drug of the Call of Duty community. We bitch, we complain, it's horrible for us. We spend all these hours on the game, and then we fucking forget immediately how bad the game we played last year is when we get a new game. And it's a revolving cycle of just shit games, and we get used to them. And then we talk about stop playing COD, and then the new COD comes out, and we say, fuck all that. I'm on this new COD now. Like, it's just, we're sick. We're sick fucks. All right? We are sick, demented motherfuckers. We really are. Also, let's talk about something. You know what? Let's talk about something right now. All right? Let's talk about something. One thing I'm fucking sick of seeing is this debate. This debate of Warzone versus CDL players. I'm sick of that fucking debate. It's not hard. Okay? Here's the overall picture of this, all right? You have Warzone players and you have Call of Duty League players, all right? Let me remind you guys something. Warzone is not Call of Duty, okay? Warzone is closer to Fortnite than it is to Call of Duty. You understand what I'm saying? If Fortnite didn't exist, Warzone would not exist. You understand that? You get it? Okay? If a BR that is centered around letting 10 and 15-year-olds have fun playing video games wasn't around, Warzone wouldn't be around. Let me repeat that, all right? So you motherfuckers understand. Warzone is not Call of Duty, okay? Warzone is not Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, we don't use shields, okay? In Call of Duty, we don't put armor on, okay? In Call of Duty, we don't buy loadouts. You understand? In Call of Duty, guns aren't just laying on the ground and you just pick them up. And you just pick up an LMG or that's not Call of Duty. That's Battle Royale Warzone. Okay? Please understand Warzone and Call of Duty are two different things. Okay? Warzone, understand, you wouldn't even be around if it wasn't for Fortnite. If Fortnite didn't exist, if a cartoon game didn't exist, Warzone wouldn't exist. Okay? So this notion that Warzone players are the best Call of Duty players in the world is idiotic. It's dumb. Warzone players are the best Warzone players. Call of Duty players are the best Call of Duty players. Period. Okay? Now, if you want to intermingle stuff, is it even a question who the overall better FPS players are? It's going to be Call of Duty League players. Obviously. Okay? Warzone players, if you have a problem, especially the top guys, Biffle, Shifty, what's the other guy's name? All you fucking Warzone players. If you think that you guys are the best Call of Duty players, one, you're retarded. That's number one. Number two, you have the opportunity to prove that. You do. You can go to any Call of Duty major, okay? You can go to any Call of Duty major and sign up to play an open bracket. Shifty, Biffle, and the rest of your squad, I guarantee you, you don't even place T34 at that Challenger Open. Okay? I guarantee you that. So for you guys to even be here talking to Call of Duty players about you being better, it's hysterical. It's funny. It's really funny. And guess what? Fuck you. Who are you to even say? You're right. I'm nobody. And for you guys, shut the fuck up or pull up. And repeat that. Warzone players are all you little Warzone players. All right. Shifty, Biffle. What's the other guy's name? Listen, Warzone community, come together. Get me your best 4 players. Your best 4 Warzone players. And tell those fucking goons to go to the next CDL Major 1, sign up for the open bracket, and compete. And if they don't win that with ease, I don't want to hear you even talking like you could play in the CDL. Okay? Because I guarantee you won't even place top 34. I'll give you maybe top. Actually, I'll give you top 34. I'll give you that. Maybe. It is where it is. Enough. Stop talking and pull up. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's it. Enough. Shut the fuck up and pull up. Okay? It's one of the dumbest debates I've ever heard. Literally, it's one of the dumbest debates because you can literally go and prove it. You know what I mean? Like Warzone against Call of Duty. Warzone is not Call of Duty. All right. Warzone players versus CDL players. Warzone is not Call of Duty. Understand that. Okay. Warzone, you don't exist without Fortnite. Okay. If Fortnite wasn't here, Shifty, Biffle, all you fucking guys, you would be probably in challengers right now. If that. You'd be probably building forts and shit on Fortnite. Okay? So stop comparing yourself to Call of Duty League players. It's not even comparable. And if you got a problem with that, you can pull up to the next major and play in challengers and prove how easy it would be for you guys to beat the CDL players, because you can go into challengers and easily beat everybody in challengers, right? You could go into the challenger open at the next major and easily win that, right? You could. So just pull up. But you won't, because you know you're going to get sent packing. You know Billy Bob 3000 might eliminate you, and you might get T64. And then you have no room to talk anymore. Okay? Enough of that. Enough. All right, guys. Sorry for the little rant. Call of Duty versus Warzone. I'm so sick of it. Whatever. We are done for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, man. Again, we're going to try to stay daily with this podcast. Daily podcast as much as possible. As news breaks, we're going to be on this shit, all right? Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow. Again, you hear what I said? I'll be back tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and the day after that and day after that. We're gonna be constant as much as possible. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Hope you enjoy your day. Hope you enjoy your Labor Day. Hope you enjoyed your day off from school. Actually, a lot of you motherfuckers are starting school again. Listen, good luck with that. All right. Have a good day. Love you guys. I appreciate you. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please drop a follow, rate the podcast 5 stars, subscribe, all that good shit. All right. Talk to you guys later. We out this bitch. Have a good night. And remember, the most important thing you can do is wash your ass. We're out of here.